Hello again on this beautiful afternoon. Today we are sharing a Cornas from the Northern Rhone, and it's a 2012 Cornas by Domaine Lionnet, and this is their Terre bottling. We'll talk a little bit about this. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, Hani had a tasting with another Lionnet, Jean Lionnet from the 90s, who was renting vines from Mathieu Barret up until 2005, and so that bottling ended. This is Corinne Lionnet, sort of a distant cousin of Jean. They have their own domain. They've been making wine for a while, and so they have different properties also in Cornas, and they've had different blends over the years, and they've had also expanded a little bit, so they have a new granite called Sparkling that started in 2016 when they expanded in a new area further up the hill. So it's supposed to be really good. It's called Pure Granite. They have a Chaillot that they're starting to bottle in 2020. This is really brand new because they separated out their Chaillot holdings from some of the others as they expanded. So they're really experimenting with their blends, with their replanting. They've had some really old vines in Mazar that they replanted from 1919, that they started replanting in 2017. So again, depending on the vintage, you're going to have a different stage of where they are. And right now, some of their highest quality wines like Pure Granite and Chaillot are still have a bit of a young, vine component in them. So they may need to evolve in a different kind of way. Anyway, this is Terre Brûlée 2012. It has a lot of their different holdings, some Mazar, Chaillot, Terre Brûlée, Pied d'Argile, and this is where the vines were still old, and the winemaking very traditional, still is unfined, unfiltered, whole, whole cluster, so not destemmed, and they ferment the older vines separately from the newer ones, and then they do the blend before they bottle after a couple of years of aging. So again, very traditional Cornas. 2012 was a good year. It gets eclipsed by some of the superstars years like 2010, 2015, but those ones in the middle, 11, 12, 13, are all very good. Anyway, let's look at the color. Very, very dark, as we've come to expect from a Syrah, from a Cornas especially. It's starting to be, there's a little bit of redness in there, so maybe it is aging nicely. There's a little bit of a clear, not orange, sort of a clear rim around the wine. It's supposedly not very, 13.5% alcohol, so within the range for Northern Syrah before we started hitting the big numbers. And it's unfiltered and unfined, as we said, so you're going to have this little murky look to it, but the color, I love that, and we've talked about this sort of, kind of dark, broody, murky color for wine. I know it may sound off-putting, but I like it, and it's almost, chewable. On the nose, you've got this unmistakable, mix of blackberry, blueberry, and dirt, which is also what comes together after a certain number of years. If it was in 2018, maybe you won't get the dirt yet, but now you're starting to get that, and it just gives us this down-to-earth, true to the soil, feeling that Cornas is really supposed to have. A little bit of olive, just nice, sort of every whiff you get something a little bit different. Now you're getting the menthol, if you want, or the ethylic sort of nature of the alcohol. Really, the front is terrific. The mouthful is really fine, very fine tannins that sort of help you with the sort of ruggedness of the wine itself. And the finish is there. The finish is really good. And this is a bottle, I opened it like, I don't know, 3 days ago, and it just keeps getting better. And this is the thing, we refuse to believe that somehow wine needs to be open for a very long time, especially a wine that's still relatively young, because this Cornas, as Hani demonstrated, he was having a bottle from 1995, and this is, I'm sure, no less fine in quality, and it could wait another 10 years. Anyway, let's just have another sip. It's a little more gamey in the mouth. I mean, I do think you get a little bit of that, still the fruit, and it's blackberry and blueberry, which is really nice because you get that juiciness. But you also have the gaminess from like a little bit of fat, meat fat, that's mixed in with the olives, gives you that a little bit of saltiness. So it's just kind of this really nice cocktail, and makes you, just think about it and keep wanting to recall the memory and recall it from the back of your throat to sort of keep tasting the finish. Really good wine, very reasonable price as far as Cornas are concerned, and it's one of those things that, if you guys have noticed, in 2000 we had the 2009, 2012, 2013, some of these older Cornas, still not very very old, but really coming into their own. It's just an amazing terroir and region to really drink from. Cheers.